Welcome back to Mystery World Explorer. The very first people to invent the number 0 were the Maya, a brilliant civilization that rose from simple farming and fishing communities as far back as 1,000 years before Christ. And then, for reasons still unknown, they declined and disappeared. What mysterious power allowed them, in the Stone Age, to create such a dazzling culture? And what kind of catastrophe struck that made them vanish into the depths of the tropical rainforest? The ancient Maya territory included the lowlands of Central America, a vast region of tropical rainforests, lowlands, and highlands. It stretched from the humid Pacific coastal plains all the way to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The core areas of Maya civilization were scattered across these isolated lowlands, some regions marked by rugged, rocky hills. In 1893, a British painter discovered the ruins of a fortress deep in the jungle. He saw crumbling walls entangled with dense vegetation, massive stone blocks lying upon the remains of a collapsed temple. Each stone was carved with intricate and beautiful patterns. Stone-paved roads revealed that this was once a bustling city, though now reduced to ancient ruins. Along the roads, drainage systems could still be found, clear evidence of a civilized and prosperous society. Houses and noble residences of stone once lined the streets, most of them now in ruins. And yet, even through the decay, one can still imagine the vibrant, thriving life that once filled this place. All the great stones were covered in green moss, choked by thorny weeds, or strangled by thick vines, twisting like giant serpents around them. Small trees forced their way through cracks in the stones, lifting roadways and house foundations, while the dense canopy above cast heavy shadows, as if nature itself were trying to conceal the forgotten wonders of this ancient city. The wild, untamed scenery contrasted powerfully with the grand human monuments, a sight so striking it left visitors in awe and disbelief. Throughout the 20th century, wave after wave of archaeologists poured into Honduras, and from there expanded their explorations across Mexico, Peru, and throughout the South American continent. Countless new wonders kept revealing themselves to the survey teams. From there, the word spread. The pyramids of the Maya were said to be even more magnificent than those of Egypt. In the city of Tikal, Guatemala, a pyramid towers as high as 212 feet, and in Mexico, colossal stone statues arranged in perfect square formations remain a mystery no one can fully explain. According to surveys, research teams from different countries have uncovered more than 170 ruins of ancient abandoned cities scattered across the jungles and plains of South America. These sites reveal the vast territory where the Maya lived and thrived, from around 1,000 years before Christ until the 8th century. The ruins seem to whisper a message that some 3,000 years ago, the Maya lived peacefully on this earth. No spiritual or material power, not even wisdom from beyond the stars, could explain how the people of South America created such marvels. Archaeologists have shown that, as they built these extraordinary wonders, the Maya had already entered a wealthy agricultural society and had even developed their own independent writing system. But the deeper scholars dig, the more one mystery remains unsolved: how the Maya built their pyramids, and why. What astonishes scholars even more is the Maya's profound knowledge of astronomy. Their level of mathematics surpassed that of Europeans. up until the 10th century. How could a society that relied almost entirely on farming for survival possess such advanced astronomical and mathematical knowledge? It is a question that continues to spark doubt. Moreover, the brilliant ancient Maya civilization left behind dazzling monuments that force us to wonder, how did they acquire such knowledge? Historical records suggest that before this radiant civilization arose, the Maya still lived in caves, surviving by fishing and hunting, a society nearly at a primitive stage. Some even question whether the Maya were truly indigenous to the Americas at all, for there is no evidence of gradual development, no transitional stages leading from simple beginnings to such monumental achievements. Could it be that all these wonders simply fell from the sky? Perhaps, for archaeology has uncovered no traces of any earlier stages of progress, and even mythology offers no clear clues. It is as though the Maya civilization appeared overnight, and then, just as suddenly, spread across South America, a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Other than the gods themselves, who could possess such magical powers? And yet, this civilization fallen from the sky seems like a play in history, a story that ended just as the curtain was rising. Why did the Maya abandon their great civilization and return to a primitive state? That remains one of history's greatest mysteries. In the year 830, the massive construction works at Koba suddenly came to a halt. By 835, the building of temples and pyramids in Yaxuna was also abandoned. In 889, the grand complex of Teotihuacan, left unfinished, was abruptly halted, and by 909, the last Maya fortress, with its stone columns already more than half complete, was also abandoned. This strange pattern reminds us of the quarries on Easter Island, where stonework was suddenly left unfinished. It was as if the Maya, living and working everywhere at the time, had all received some mysterious command. They abandoned the fortresses and temples that generations had struggled to build, left behind fertile farmlands, and migrated into desolate wilderness. The Maya walked away from the glorious cities they themselves had built with their own hands. Were the Maya's actions, abandoning their civilization and returning to a primitive life, a matter of choice, or the result of some other force? Historians have offered many theories: foreign invasions, climate change, earthquakes, epidemics. Any of these could have forced a mass migration on such a scale. Yet none of these explanations have ever been truly convincing. At that time, no other civilization in South America was powerful enough to challenge the Maya. Thus, the idea that the Maya were conquered by foreign invaders is almost impossible. Meteorologists and researchers have long searched for evidence, yet none has been found to suggest that South America in the 8th or 9th century suffered any sudden climatic disaster. The grand stone structures of the Maya still stand in majesty. Only a few have collapsed, while most have withstood the wind and rain for over 1,000 years, remaining almost perfectly intact. For this reason, the theory of a devastating earthquake must also be ruled out. As for the theory of disease, it seems possible. Yet across the vast territories of the Maya, spanning tens of thousands of miles, a single epidemic spreading so widely would be extremely rare. Moreover, the Great Maya Migration unfolded over the course of centuries, an acute outbreak of disease, could never have lasted so long. And so the mystery remains. To this day, scientists around the world have yet to offer a convincing explanation. The miraculous Maya civilization began building pyramids throughout South America very early on. Yet, almost as if overnight, it was as though they stepped onto the stage of history, without introduction, without prologue, performing a grand epic of civilization. And then, just as suddenly, they vanished, leaving behind no explanation, and closing the curtain on their story in haste. The fierce and dramatic play of Maya history suddenly came to an end. Only the vines and moss of the rainforest remained to quietly cover their footsteps. Only the crumbling ruins are left behind, as if to leave an empty space in history for future generations to wonder.